there, failers. Today we're looking at some odd ones out. And today we're gonna be focusing on something real interesting. You know how in the last video, the last Let Me Explain Studios video, we were looking at Rebecca Parham's horrible professor. Well, I don't know what it is. I think I'm just on a school kick. But today I wanted to look at James's teachers. My teachers and my poetry teacher. Anyone who wants to place bets on how long I keep that voice up, chime in the comments below. I have not filmed an Odd Ones Out video since meeting the Odd Ones Out. And every time I've filmed a video since VidCon, I keep saying at the beginning that I'm gonna tell the story of meeting the person, and then I forget. Halfway through, I forget. But today, I'm gonna remember, okay? But for now, people, are you ready? Because it's time for RobertIDK, the Odd Ones Out, the theme song.
Sometimes I feel like the odd one out. No one knows what I'm talking about. So I just go and take a trip to Subway. Some things may keep me awake at night. Board games, my awful roommates and life. So I'll recline and go online. And with the odd ones out, I'll laugh a million times.
All right, let's see if James's experience with teachers is better than Rebecca's. My teachers, 3, 2, 1.
Jeff, you have the board. I'll take random James trivia for 400, Alex. This was James's first career choice before his YouTube channel kicked off.
No idea. Animation? Something animation related? You'd think? Something drawing related?
Oh, I know this one. What is a male?
No! I was trying to sink my teeth into this video. I was like, I'm just gonna let the first 30 seconds play. Okay, shh. He didn't just say that, we're good.
Okay, that bit's done now. Male was never a career goal. Well, I mean, it's not completely off the table. You never know how YouTube will turn out. If you didn't know this Odd Ones Out trivia, I wanted to be a math teacher when I grew up. My dream job was actually a cartoonist, but since me and my parents didn't think I'd be able to make any money drawing pictures, I chose a math teacher as my, I'll settle for this job. I mean, I like math, so I wouldn't have hated being a math teacher, and I'm also probably good at teaching children. I haven't checked though, but how hard can it be? Listen kids, I have 2.7 million subs on YouTube, so if you want a shout out, you'll have to do the homework.
That would work, but at what cost? All right, yeah, okay. I tried not to pause it too quick, but I have so much to say. He packs so much in. That is a very interesting way of putting career stuff. I guess in my mind, I had a similar thing, right? I had like a plan for not being a YouTuber. I wasn't going to be a YouTuber until I became a YouTuber. I mean, you know, obviously. I went to university for 4 whole years and got a marketing degree. I was going to work on commercials. I was gonna come up with the next brilliant ad campaign. I wanted to come up with the next I'm a Mac versus I'm a PC. And I mean, I still would have loved that job, but then I just became a YouTuber and I was like, wait a minute, this is a thing I could do. I could say the funnies into the camera for a living instead. And here we are, people, here we are.
And I thought that a teaching job would give me enough free time to doodle cartoons. So being a math teacher would have been perfect. But oh boy, that did not turn out how I expected. If for some reason my channel died and I stopped making YouTube videos, I would probably go back to school and finish my math education major. And then I'd be teaching a class and then one of my students would find out that I used to do YouTube and then they'd say, Mr. James, are you the Odd Ones Out? The Odd Ones Out? I haven't heard that name in years.
Yo, also, during this era, James was throwing some hardcore shade at certain YouTubers. And it's so funny, because like, I know when these videos came out, 6 years ago, 2017. I remember what was happening in the culture of YouTube during that time. So this right here, James, pretty aggressive. Pretty aggressive, but hilarious.
I just want to point this out. In my peeing video, I drew my first grade teacher like this, and in my Harry the Moth video, I drew my kindergarten teacher like this. Do you have an explanation on why they're drawn so similar? Yeah, I was lazy. Teachers play such an important role for children, and if I'm being honest, I don't think they get paid enough to take their job seriously. A good teacher can make you excited to learn the material and actually teach you, while a bad teacher can not only waste your time and not teach you anything, but also crush your dreams. I took choir in 9th grade. Everyone had to take it, okay? It was a prep school. I'm not weird. And one time while we were singing a song, the teacher said, "Stop." who's flat. Then she pointed at a boy and told him, you, sing. And he sang for a bit. Then she pointed at another boy, you, sing. Then she went through a couple more and then she pointed to me and said, you, sing. No. And I sung. Stop! James,
you're the flat one!
Song,
50 years in the dungeon! Wait, so is she gonna tell him, like, hey, never sing again? Is this what he meant by, like, crushing your dreams? Because, man, that is the worst. That is, like, the worst thing a teacher can do is crush your dreams.
James, during the next song, don't sing. Either she had really good hearing or I was just that terrible at singing. Now, I really hated choir, so if given the choice to sing or not sing, I would choose not every time.
Yeah,
but what
okay.
if I actually wanted to be a singer? And when I sang just then, I was trying my hardest. That would have been soul-crushing.
Okay, it would have been soul-crushing, but, like, actually, like, honestly, if you wanted to be a singer and you were that bad, then it's like, okay, maybe they would be doing you a favor in that regard. Listen, there are people who can do certain things, and there are certain people who can do other things. What can I not do? Oh yeah, dunk a basketball. I'm 5'8". If my dream was to be an NBA player, I would want someone to save me. Save me from thinking that, okay? So yes, a teacher can crush your dreams in a horrible way, but yeah, no, James, if you did want to be a professional singer and you were that bad that the teacher could pull you out of the crowd, unfortunately, my man, she's doing you a favor.
I would have given up on music right then and there. Thankfully, my art teacher was a lot more laid back. She definitely had favorite students, and I wasn't one of them, but she never told anyone not to draw. One time I showed my art teacher my newest comic, which at the time was this one, and without telling her that I was the one who made it, I asked, what do you think of this art style? And she said, oh, I hate it, but it's fine if you like it. In my classroom, we try to go for realism, but people with that art style can still have successful careers.
Okay, that got better as it went on. Oh, I hate it. Yo, hey teacher, if you're gonna ride the fence like that, start on the fence, okay? Don't say, James, I hate it, and then move to the peaceful side. Keep that same energy, teacher. Oh my gosh, did James say that it was his?
She said she hated it. Teachers just need to be more supportive with students and teach them in creative ways. That's why I think so many people hate math. You just haven't had a teacher that made you want to learn. You'd pay attention and study for the tests if I was your math teacher, wouldn't you? Don't get me wrong,
Maybe.
Teaching isn't an easy job. And even the best teacher can't make everyone in their class excited to learn. I mean, I probably could, but there's definitely a difference between a good and bad teacher. I had this French teacher in 9th grade, and she made me really hate French, and by association, the entire country of France.
Dude, here's the thing. Language teachers they are set up for failure in terms of like having students love them, because learning a language is like the hardest thing. I would rather learn a math principle over a language any day. Math is, for me, that's way easier. I was so terrible at learning French because I'm Canadian and we had to learn French, or some French, we had to try. Guess how that turned out? I don't even remember the word for bad in French. I was gonna say bad in French. I don't even remember what the word was. Talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy. Mauvais? Really? Mauvais? No wonder I don't remember that.
Mauvaise.
Yeah, as if I'm gonna remember that, teacher. Okay.
She spoke English on the first day of class and then only spoke French for the rest of the year. We were in French 1, by the way. I didn't understand anything that was going on. I would just tune her out. I'd be doodling on a piece of paper and then people would get out their textbooks and start flipping through it, and then I'd think, oh, we're doing this now? I didn't learn anything in that class.
Yeah.
Honestly, I barely know any French. This is all the French words that I know. I can count to 10. Ou, deux, trois, quatre.
Oh no! Oh, ooh, do! Jeez, James! Those sound like slurs to my Canadian ears. Duh. Ooh, do! Duh. Okay? I guess maybe I know a little French.
Ou, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf.
10.
Okay, I can only count to 9. And I know that Eiffel Tower is
10.
pour Eiffel, quack is coin, and door is portal. My twin sister, who's in the same class and had the same living conditions as me, turned out a lot different. She learned a lot of French and continued to take classes after 9th grade. So maybe this whole knowledge thing has a lot to do with the student and not the teacher.
Whoa.
Nah, it's the teacher's fault. Did anyone else, when you were little, think that your teacher lived at the school? Because I remember one time my kindergarten teacher came to school in her pajamas and told us that she lived at the school. And that made perfect sense. Yeah, this is your home. This is the only place I ever see you. Therefore, you live here.
Man, I wish I could work in my pajamas.
Am I looking at a video of me right now? Is this me? It's literally me. Nice mic, nice acoustic foam. Anyways, just had to take in that fourth wall break right there.
When I went to community college, I had a math teacher who was this old grandpa, and on the first day, he told us that he never missed a class in 20 years.
Whoa.
But then the very next day, he didn't show up. Now, in college, teachers not showing up to class is pretty normal, or at least it was in the colleges I went to. It happened more times than it did in high school, that's for sure. That's something to look forward to, seniors. Every time it does happen, there's always that one kid who will say, you know, there's a rule that if the teacher doesn't show up within the first 15 minutes of class, then you can leave. I don't know if that rule is true, but I'm not going to look it up, because I like that rule, and I want it to be true. And I don't even go to college anymore.
He keeps saying things that I think are going to be a developed story, and then he tangents off of that thing. I wanted to hear about this teacher who's never missed a class in 20 years and then dipped. So did he just lie? Does he just cap to the students? Teacher, you're supposed to captivate the students. Instead, you're capping on the students. They're there to learn. How are they supposed to learn if you come to the class with cap? But no, there are those certain teachers who just lie to students, or like I had a teacher in my high school. I was gonna say his name, Mr. Laxton. He used to just straight up lie to all of us about all these past jobs that he had. He was like, I used to be a skydiving instructor. Oh, I used to be a videographer on skiing hills. Oh, I used to do carpentry for the president. Like, just, bro, if you're this cool, why are you here? Why are you here with us, bro? Cap. There are certain teachers that just straight up cap, and it's like, are you proud of yourself? You proud of yourself? Does that make you proud? You doing that to us kids?
And I don't even go to college anymore, so why does it matter? So teachers not showing up, that's not too abnormal, but since this old guy told us he never missed a day of class in 20 years, we thought he died. But nope, he just missed a day. He showed up the third day. I don't know what his excuse was, because after I saw him, I thought, oh good, he's alive. And then I stopped paying attention because community college sucks.
So he did tell the story. Okay, so, all right. See, I thought he had just moved on from that completely. You can't bring up a person and then make 20 separate points and then come back and expect me not to be confused and pausing the video preemptively. Anyways, you heard my story about my teacher, so it's okay. It's all about the cap.
I'd say that my favorite teacher would be my 11th grade AP US history teacher.
Whoa.
I liked him because it was obvious that he liked the material, and he would teach us in a way that was fun and interesting. He was also a more laid back and generally a funny person. He's the teacher that I want to be. He gave me a compliment once that has always stuck with me. He was telling the class about the AP test, which is this super important open-ended essay test that we took at the end of the year, and if we did well on it, the grade would count for college credit. So like a week before the test, our teacher was preparing us, and he said, guys, don't try and be funny on the AP test. The graders don't have a sense of humor. Except James. James can be funny on the test. Aww, that compliment made me so happy and confident. I don't know how serious my teacher was when he said that, and he probably doesn't even remember saying it, but I really appreciated it. I ended up getting a 3 on the test, which is only partial credit in select colleges, so maybe I'm not funny. That was 11th grade.
But is that helping you? If he's advising people, wait, okay. So here's what he was saying. He was complimenting James because he was saying, guys, don't try to be funny on the test because you won't be funny. But James, I trust that he actually will be funny so you can be funny on the test. I feel like you're playing with fire still. I feel like you're still playing with fire. Because for me, that sounds like sabotage. Is he really saying like these people don't have a sense of humor, but James is so funny that being humorous will suddenly change their ways? Because aside from that, it sounds like sabotage. I don't know.
That was 11th grade. In 12th, I took all AP classes, but I didn't take any of the AP tests. I was too apathetic.
Aw.
But I turned out fine. Actually, no. My favorite teacher is my 9th grade English teacher who emailed me and said he watches my videos.
Aw.
Hi, Mr. Batman. Sorry I plagiarized the Berlin Wall essay. I really wanted to talk about my 9th grade poetry teacher. Yes, I took choir, French, and poetry all in 9th grade. It was a preparatory school. That teacher was definitely something, But this video is getting too long, so I'll have to make a part 2.
Well, thank you for setting it up for me, James. We are about to go into this story about James's 9th grade poetry teacher. And boy, am I excited. But I promised you I would tell you about when I met James. I did manage to meet James at VidCon a couple weeks ago. He was a super nice guy, as you'd expect. He is familiar with this channel, but he hasn't watched any of the videos. Here's the problem, people. I still consider myself in the genre of reaction channels, but what we do is a little bit more than that. And so when I tell people that I make like reaction videos, I feel like I need a better way to describe it. Cause like, I didn't know how to explain to James, like, I know you've probably seen a million reaction videos to your stuff, but like, you might enjoy these videos. You might enjoy what we're doing here. So anyways, I tried to have that conversation without being too awkward, but regardless, he was a very, very kind guy, and I had a very awkward moment at the end of our conversation. So this was at VidCon, right? And so there were a lot of different creators at the convention, including more creators than just the ones I met. I mean, way more. But one of the people who was there was Ice Cream Sandwich, Andy. And we have looked at his stuff before, and it was a great time. But guys, I gotta tell you, I did not remember what his face looked like. I also didn't remember Andy was his name. So near the end of my conversation with James, his friend walks up and he's like, oh, hey, this is, and he introduces the friend. I don't know if it was Daniel or some name. And in my mind, I was like, this person vaguely looks like my vision of what Ice Cream Sandwich looks like. You know what would be really awkward? If I accidentally met Ice Cream Sandwich right now without knowing this. I had better prepare for this scenario. And so, all my brain knew to do when James introduced this guy was say, Ice Cream Sandwich? And James was like, huh, what? He said something about Ice Cream Sandwich? No, that's Andy. And I didn't know how to explain, like, I was trying to prepare for the worst case scenario where James introduced Ice Cream Sandwich to me and I didn't know. Anyways, it wasn't him, obviously. And so I felt very awkward. I just said Ice Cream Sandwich to James's friend who is not Ice Cream Sandwich. And I created this whole awkward moment for myself that I guarantee James has completely forgotten about, but it's lived in my head rent-free. So anyways, to James's friend and to James, I apologize. My anxiety kicked in, okay? It was bad. But aside from that, meeting James was awesome, really nice dude, and I appreciate him and his support for what we do here, and his amazing work that he's done for so long. And so I will take this time to say, if you aren't subscribed to James, make sure you're subscribed. You're probably subscribed to James at this point. And while you're here, if you could unfull screen the video, boot the like button real quick, maybe boot the subscribe button on this channel if you're not. And if this accent doesn't convince you to do it, I don't know what will. And now it is time to learn about James's poetry teacher. Are you ready? Because I am. 3, 2, 1. Konnichiwa.
I'll take school facts for 800, Alex.
Okay.
This is the most useless class that a person could take in school. Oh man. What is poetry? I'm sorry, Jeff, but the correct answer is all of them. Hold it! They're all useless.
That's a hot take from Alex Trebek at the beginning of the vid.
In my first video, I didn't have enough time to say this, but I hate it when people are cool with their teachers. I understand that some teachers are more laid back than others, and sometimes they'll ask the class, so how was everyone's weekend? Then if you want to talk about something or have important news, then you can share it. My dog died. Haha, yeah, they do that. But there's a line and you shouldn't cross it. Don't talk to your teacher just to talk to them during class. I don't know how much of a problem this is in other places of the world, but sometimes there would be kids in my class that would say, hey Susan, how was your daughter's dance recital? Did you remember all of her moves? I saw the video you posted on Facebook. It looked like she was having a fun time. Stop it! Stop it!
Stop it! I agree. I'm with James. Cut that out. Cut that out. That is literally, listen, you are creating biases. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You're kissing that butt of the authority. You're licking that boot. I don't know why I'm doing this accent. I'm gonna try and stop. Well, it's because I was listening to country before this.
Well, when we get to sipping whiskey and we get a little frisky, I climb up on him, ride him like an F-150.
Anyways, I'm gonna try to stop slipping into that accent. Anyways, yeah, you You. And what annoys me the most is because I'm introverted. I'm interesting, but I'm introverted. Like, I could talk to this teacher and we could become homies, but I'm just shy, So you are taking advantage of your extroversion to become the teacher's favorite, and they will automatically give you a slightly higher mark. They may think they're unbiased and blah, 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 but they're gonna, if they like you, they're gonna, they're gonna help you out a little bit. I don't like it.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Maybe I wouldn't have been a good teacher. Before I tell you about my poetry teacher, I need to tell you about the preparatory school I went to so you can better understand where I'm coming from. So I went to a preparatory school in 9th grade, and first off, what is a preparatory school? Google says it's a private school that prepares students for college. Now, hearing that definition, you might think, wait, don't all schools prepare students for college? Isn't that a school's job? And you might think that a preparatory school is more fancy and made out of marble and all the kids come from rich families.
Yes.
No. What it means is that the schools get little government funding and parents have to pay for desks and the teacher's salary. I know different private schools will vary depending on how rich the parents are. I'm sure that school made out of marble exists somewhere, but the preparatory school I went to was relatively worse than a normal public school. The school I went to didn't even have desks. They had fold-up tables and the chairs were fold-up too. How did they? Oh. Well, now I know where all the budget went.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. I hear prep school, private school, whatever. I do have, in my mind, that's what I think of. In my hometown, we did have like one big private school that was like, it had like a Harry Potter clock tower. It was something out of just British stereotypes, It looked like an academy. It looked like an institute. Like, what are we gonna see when we type in prep school? Yeah, see, exactly. We're gonna get these uniforms. We're gonna get this,
The main difference between a public school and a prep school is that a prep school is smaller and there's a uniform and there's lockers. So why did my twin sister and I attend a preparatory school? Because twins have superpowers and we need to go to a special school to enhance our abilities. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That'd be cool though. We went because when we were starting our freshman year, our older brother was a senior and he was already attending this preparatory school, and my mom didn't want to have to drive to 2 high schools to pick us up. We already had a carpool in place. You can't just mess with the carpool. And me and my sister didn't know what to expect from a public high school. We've never been. We thought we'd get bullied or something. Boy, I feel like picking on someone today. Yeah, sure, we can go to a prep school. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Well, the carpool we had made it so we would arrive at the school super early before everyone else, and we'd be picked up from the school super late. And also, because it was a prep school, they gave out a stupid amount of homework. I remember breaking up the homework into pieces, like, okay, I can do the geometry while I'm waiting for school to start, the biology homework I can do during geometry class, and I have choir after lunch, so I can just do this during lunch. Look at me being responsible.
That made my brain sad thinking about that. First of all, the getting dropped off before everyone else and then the getting picked up after everyone else. Honestly, any one of you guys who's in that situation, I feel for you. That's rough. I mean, hopefully you have a good situation. And if you do use that time to do homework, that's actually really smart. Because then maybe, I guess when you get home, you don't have to worry about homework. And that is kind of ill in itself. That's the dream, right? Is like getting home and not having to think about homework at all. It feels so different than getting home, starting to do whatever you want, but knowing in your mind, I have to do homework later. That's me my entire life with YouTube now. I always have homework. YouTube looks like the most fun job ever. Sure, it's fun. This is the most fun. This is the most fun part. But what you don't think about is the fact that I always have homework. What? I always have homework. I always have a video to edit. At all times, I have editing that I am putting off doing. Anytime I'm in my life doing something fun, I'm thinking, yeah, this is fun, but I have homework to do still. I still have homework. So I guess maybe in a sense, I feel for the homies in school. I don't know what the point of this topic of conversation was. I lost track.
I have a little sister who just finished her freshman year in a public high school, and she thinks it was so hard. Oh, you thought your 9th grade was hard? Try doing twice the amount of homework and wear the same pants every day. So now the only question remaining is, why did my older brother go to a prep school in the first place? Bro, why did you go to a prep school in the first place? IDK just decided to. Just felt like I should. My mom reads my scripts, and she told me that he went to a prep school because one of his friends said that there were cute girls at the school.
No
so
way.
he decided to stay there for 4 years. Okay, now let's talk about my poetry teacher.
James just keeps dropping these bombs on us and moving on immediately. These things are a big deal. You had to endure all of prep school because your brother, I don't know, just decided to. Or because your brother was told that there were cute girls there. And so you had to endure going to prep school this whole time because of one thing that one dingus said to your brother. Am I hearing this correctly? Dude, you can't just sweep that under the rug. You can't just sweep that butterfly effect under the rug. You need to track that dude down and make him pay for your suffering. Maybe not, but life comes at you fast, you know? That's what I'm trying to say here.
Okay, now let's talk about my poetry teacher. I'll call him Mr. Poe, because that's short for poetry. A tree. Poetry wasn't even an elective class. Every freshman was required to take it. And surprisingly, poetry was only the second most useless class you took at the school. The sophomores took a class on Latin. You know, that dead language that no one speaks. So Mr. Poe, I don't want to judge him too hard. I don't know how he was like outside of school, but just picking up the vibes I got from him as a 14-year-old, I think he was depressed. I mean, to be fair, anyone who likes poetry probably has something wrong in their head. But Mr. Poe just seemed sad all the time. Every single day he would start the class by saying, "It's the best day ever." Which, if you think about it, saying that every day only means that the days are going to get better and better, which is sort of poetic. But I think Mr. Poe was lying to himself. Also, Mr. Poe really liked anacondas. I mean, snakes. He really liked snakes.
Oh my gosh. He literally started every day by saying,
"It's the best day ever."
to come with that type of energy, that kind of line, entering the day with "it's the best day ever" every day, you had better be the happiest person on planet Earth. Doesn't even matter if you're depressed. You can't be normal and say it's the best day ever. You can't be a mildly happy person and come into every day saying it's the best day ever. You'd better be like the happiest person on the planet. You're trying to come with that energy. Yeah, no, Mr. Poe's got a couple of screws loose, I think.
Also, Mr. Poe really liked anacondas. I mean, snakes. He really liked snakes. Sometimes he would go off on tangents talking about snakes. Royal pythons, also called American ball python, got their name because they turn into a ball when they get nervous. Also, did you know that snakes have two... Never mind. Sometimes in class we'd be analyzing poetry, and Mr. Poe told us that every single word in a poem was important. The poet didn't have to use the word "the," but they did. What did they mean? Sometimes we would spend days analyzing a single poem, taking notes and talking about what we thought the poet meant. One time a poem we were reading had someone talking, so there were quotation marks at the start of the sentence, but there weren't quotation marks at the end.
No.
The poet forgot to put end quotes.
Oh, no.
I remember noticing it and thinking, aha! A clue! Mr. Poe, I just made a breaking discovery. There's no end quotes here, meaning that the whole rest of this poem is told by this character. And Mr. Poe said, oh no, that's just a typo. Well, frickin', why am I perfectly nitpicking this piece when the poet purposely put poor punctuation in his poems? Pterodactyl!
That drives me crazy too. I think me and James, like, we must have certain similarities in our brain because that is an abstract thought. And I personally, I'm sorry to my people out there who aren't perfect with their spelling and grammar, but I am obsessive about it. In my mind, the only time that you should spell things wrong or use bad grammar is if you're doing it to be goofy, you know? Like, I'll say something like this. The only time I will talk like this, it's me, like, subtly making fun of people who do talk like this and just being a goofball. It's for the memes. But I've said this a million times, and I've said this a bunch of times, but, like, when I see the wrong "your" being used, it drives me insane. And anyone who English is your second language, you have a pass. Mess it up as much as it happened. I don't care. That's totally fine. But if English is your first language, if you say, I can't help it, people, if you hit me with the wrong "your," I will judge you. I will judge you. Get it right. Get it right.
This is gonna sound off topic, but do you guys know what lateral thinking puzzles are? Lateral thinking puzzles are sort of like riddles, but more stupid. You're given a strange situation with little information, and you have to ask the person who told you the puzzle yes or no questions to get the answer. My favorite lateral thinking puzzle is this because it's so stupid. A man goes into a restaurant, orders albatross, eats one bite, and then jumps off a bridge. Why? Now, normally, if we were playing legitly, you would ask me yes or no questions like, was the man in a relationship? And I would answer them saying, well, not anymore. The explanation is this. I'm not going to read it out because it's super long and complicated.
Okay, here we are.
The man, his wife, and some other third person, I'll name Hunter, were shipwrecked on a deserted island. The man's wife later died from starvation. Then Hunter fed the man some albatross. When he took a bite of the bird
Okay, yeah, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. You know, if you want to pause and read it, be my guest. I ain't doing this.
You can read it if you want. Well, Mr. Poe also liked to tell these lateral thinking puzzles, but his solutions were more dumber. One of the puzzles he told the class was, you're trapped in a restaurant, how do you get out? Now, I can think of like 5 solutions right off the top of my head. Okay, through the door, through a window, use a crowbar if it's locked. There's probably a sharp knife to cut through a wall, or you can dig a hole under everything with a spoon. But it was actually none of those answers. So, how do you get out of a restaurant you're trapped in?
Pay.
You get an education. Okay, let me explain. You're trapped in a restaurant because you're a waiter. That's your job. And to get out of the restaurant, you need to get a good education so you can get a better job. Kind of like how I was able to quit my job in the food industry by getting an education. It's funny because he dropped out of college.
What a jerk. Mr. Poe's a jerk. A lot of people love working in the food industry. I want Gordon Ramsay's reaction to this. Y'all don't need my reaction to this. You need Gordon Ramsay's.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Because he, oh my gosh, he would have a thing or two to say to Mr. Poe, you're stuck in a restaurant, how do you get out? Wow. By that logic, if it's because they're working there, by that logic, just wait for it to close. Wait for it to close and then go home from your shift. Mr. Poe, you dingus.
So the class got the answer to that riddle, but Mr. Poe told us another riddle and we never figured that one out. And that riddle is, anyone can dig a ditch, but it takes a real man to blank. Given that the answer to the first riddle was education, the answer to this could be anything. I really wanted to know the answer to this riddle, so I Googled it hoping that Mr. Poe just stole it from the internet, and I found this song, anyone can dig a hole close enough to a ditch, but it takes a real man to call it home.
I know this song. I used to listen to this album. I used to listen to this. Bro, is he about to play a clip from this Under Oath track? Let's go. Please play a clip.
Which sounds poetic enough. Let's see if the song gives us any more clues. Mr. Poe, I didn't know you were into this sort of stuff.
Yes! Oh my gosh! It's all coming back to me! I've heard that song like 100 times! This is like the greatest moment. My whole life is coming full circle right now. I'm sweating. This is the perfect moment. That just blew my mind. That was hilarious. I need to see that part again. I need to see that part again.
Let's see if the song gives us any more clues. Mr. Poe, I didn't know you were into this sort of stuff. So I wish I could give you the answer, but I don't have one. Feel free to guess what you think the answer is and give your reasoning in the comments. That'll be fun to read. But I will say the answer that I did come up with that I think makes the most sense.
Dude, I don't know if I can even focus on your answer anymore. That was just hearing Under Oath in an Odd Ones Out video. That was not on my bingo card. That was not on my bingo card. I definitely thought I was gonna go the rest of my life without hearing Under Oath in an Odd Ones Out video.
Anyone can dig a ditch, but it takes a real man to hide the body. Poetry was dumb, but at least I learned something. How to write haikus. Honestly, I'm glad I took a poetry class. At least it's not French. Mr. Poe, teacher, if you're somehow watching this, thanks for teaching me stuff.
Wow, that video got out of my control. Well, now I have to go and live my life with my mind having been blown by this video. But regardless, another couple of classics by James. I'm glad that his experiences weren't as traumatic as Rebecca's. And with James's stuff, you really never know what you're gonna get. It's when you click on a James video, the number of different branches to the story, you get thrown across the galaxy, basically. But as usual, I really enjoyed both of those videos. Just classic stuff, as usual. And people, if you are not subscribed to The Odd Ones Out, make sure you are doing that. Here's James's channel. Check him out. Him and his team did all the hard work. I was just saying silly things, yay! And here is the whole playlist.
of the Odd Ones Out reaction video that we've done. Make sure you have seen them all. Make sure you've seen them. Here's a video that YouTube thinks you will like. Are they right? You let me know. Okay, bye.